fix our problems, and you just never solve them, cause you always in drama. It's alarming, it's alarming. Girl, I just need clarity. Can you just let me breathe? Oh, I don't wanna let you in, but it's too late now.
So another deadline day deal is about to be approaching us, and if you haven't been sleeping under a rock, you will come to realise that striker Luke Armstrong, the deal that was originally meant to be Luke Armstrong to MK Dons, has been jeopardised, and now it's Luke Armstrong to Wrexham instead. Now, MK Dons on the 30th of August, which was yesterday, well, 2 days ago, have lodged a £375,000 plus add-ons in bids for Harrogate for the striker Luke Armstrong. Now, Luke Armstrong, he's a 6'1" striker, and yeah, 27 years of age, so it's more of the Ollie Palmer type player, if I'm honest, and there's plenty of things to really discuss. Now, I'm not going to go through player profiles again, because we did do a video previously on a room. Oh, it was technically, wasn't a room, it was basically to say that Wrexham had placed a bid for Luke Armstrong, really, but they wanted more, and that's exactly what had happened. But yeah, all the player profile and things like that is all over on the other video, so make sure you do go and check that out if you do want a background check in terms of Luke Armstrong. Now, going on to the 2022-23 season, which is the season just gone, he scored 16 goals and 6 assists in 46 League 2 games, playing a total of 4,125 minutes. Now, there's a lot of things in this, to be honest. It's something that, how can I put it? It's a big talking point, because he's 6'1". So, for me, spells like he's more like Dalby and Palmer, but Palmer's like 6'3", and I think Dalby's something like that as well. So he can't be much like them, but he is tall. So it's a bit of a mad signing, if I'm honest. It really is. Now, obviously, we all know predominantly a few weeks back, before, I think it was at the time the video got made, it was Harrogate basically said they had spoken to Luke Armstrong, and it was best to not include him in the side because he wanted to be elsewhere, which was, you know, it is what it is. They'd offered him a new contract and all that stuff. But yeah, 375,000 plus add-ons, which was the bid that MK Dons put in, which did get accepted. And it was meant to be completed today, which Wrexham did jeopardise. And from what I understand and what I've been told, Wrexham have got a better deal than the one that MK Dons lodged in the first place. So right now, as it stands, personal terms are agreed. It's looking like the transfer deal is signed, sealed and delivered. But we all know this is deadline day and anything can go wrong. Now we're going to move on into this season, because he has played 5 games. He played 4 games in the league, scored in 1 goal, played a total of 301 minutes, and he played 1 game in the EFL Cup. So, listen, if he signs, I don't expect him to play tomorrow. It's one of them signings where anything can happen, in all honesty, and it's a crazy one. For me, I just don't think that's the right move for Wrexham, and I just feel like there's obviously better things out there, in all honesty. But yeah, listen, Luke Armstrong to Wrexham, it looks like it's set to happen. Now, I know the Brandon Hanlon deal, which the video got posted earlier on, the deal as it stands is off. The understanding was, in regards to the Brandon Hanlon deal, was the fact of, if Wickham got their man in Ikpeazu, I believe it was, then Brandon Hanlon was going to be allowed to come to Wrexham. But obviously, things have happened. It doesn't look like Wickham have got their man, which also spells that the Brandon Hanlon deal to Wrexham is off, despite personal terms being agreed. Now, as I say, Luke Armstrong, on the other hand, has personal terms agreed. The bid's been accepted. So it's literally, providing everything goes all right and goes well, Luke Armstrong will be a Wrexham player before the deadline ends. Now, as I say, it's not one of my personal favourites. It's probably someone that I mentioned, top 5 players who Wrexham should sign, because I believe replacements should be made. Don't get me wrong, I would have had him in there. But right now, I feel like loaning Bickerstaff out was probably a better option. Obviously, I know Billy Waters ain't going to be shifting because of his wages. I've spoken to a lot of people throughout the day about certain things, whether it's departures, whether it's arrivals and things like that. and the squad at the moment's overloaded. Now, deadline day does end soon, but the National League one doesn't end until later on in the year, I believe. It could be March time or something. Don't know, it's a weird time for the National League because you can just really sign anyone as and when you really want to in the National League. So you can expect players like Bickerstaff once Mullins back and a couple of other people to head out into the National League. You know, it's probably looking more likely, and if not, it will be contract terminations that, you know, you'll see other players go elsewhere. Now, Armstrong was also joined Wrexham, which was another one that we posted earlier out in the day, which is, you know, another welcome to him as well. A 1-year loan deal, which his contract expires at the end of the season anyway, so 1-year loan to possibly see and potentially have him on a permanent deal. Great business by Wrexham. But going back onto Luke Armstrong, for me, probably spells Dolby's future going elsewhere. And yeah, probably if you look closer towards the next season, you probably see like the likes of Palmer probably not being with Wrexham no more because he's getting on a bit now. Even though at the moment he's been superb, so who knows, a lot of things can happen. Football's mad, it's an opinionated game, and so much stuff happens in it. Now, listen, he's played for Harrogate, Salford, Hartlepool, Gateshead, Accrington, Stanley and Carden Beef, so he's played for a lot of clubs. But this is what happens in this league. You know, 27 years of age, so predominantly, I'd imagine it'd be a 2-year deal, 3-year deal potentially for Luke Armstrong. But to get 16 goals in this division last season, it's something it's a quality, it's an asset to have into the team. But for me right now, I just personally think that wasn't the point that we needed. The point was to get the backup to Paul Mullen, which Brandon Hanlon would have suited that role 100%. But nonetheless, players that you bring in, you've got to back them, you've got to support them, and you've got to basically just hope that, you know, the recruitment that Wrexham do bring in is good enough in terms of what the season holds. Now, yeah, as I say, I don't expect them to play tomorrow against Tranmere because I think it's a lot weird because Okonkwo I would expect to play, because the issue is with Okonkwo is, like, I said this to many other people, you can basically announce a player anytime you really want, but it depends when the registration forms go in and all that stuff. So he could be available tomorrow, but Armstrong, on the other hand, is not. Now, I did speak to Rob Ryan Red, and I did say to him, Jake Armstrong, like the tweet in regards to Luke Armstrong, which was in regards to Luke Armstrong, Wrexham hijacking the deal, and I sent the same thing to Fearless and Devotion, Tim, as well. I said, you know, the deal might have some friction on it, and yeah, the friction has been indeed. So yeah, that's the latest on the deal. Luke Armstrong wraps the trio of signings in George Evans, Arthur Okonkwo, and Luke Armstrong. And also, by the way, what an absolute steal by the media person, by the way, in the way Arthur Okonkwo was announced. Absolute belter. But if you are new to the video, new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and tap that bell for more notifications as we end to upload. Hopefully, it's the last time I see you tonight in terms of deadline day. And yeah, take it easy. I hope you all have a good day, and I shall see you guys at Prenton Park tomorrow.